Hello everyone, my name is Joe. I'm from the Interwork Advice Service, and today I'm just going to do a little talk about universal credit and talk about kind of what universal credit is constituted talk about how you can apply for it, the different eligibility criteria, and how us at the Interwork Advice Service can help you with your universal credit queries. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about universal credit and what it is. So basically, universal credit encompasses 6 of what they used to call the old legacy benefits. So universal credit is basically made up of child tax credit, housing benefit, income-based job seekers allowance, income support, income-related employment and support allowance, and working tax credits. Okay. So universal credit is a digital benefit, okay, meaning it's all done over the computer. There's no forms to fill in, it's just buttons to push and boxes to tick. Universal credit is paid monthly and it will be paid into one account. The payment is made up of various elements, okay, so it'll be constituting things such as housing, a child element, and a personal allowance, okay. So customers can also claim 85% of their childcare costs, okay? Now, how much you get depends on which elements are applicable to you and your current situation, okay? So obviously if things change, you can get more or less money depending on what the nature of the change, okay? Now, universal credit is primarily based at getting people back to work. Now, it's important to bear this in mind before you apply, as if you claim UC, you will be encouraged to look for work and attend interviews and generally carry out various steps that are associated with job searching, okay? People who are unable to work will not be expected to look for work, but you will have to evidence this through things such as fit notes from a local GP, and there might be some form of assessment which is normally conducted via a work capability assessment form, okay? Now, if you are currently working, you can still apply for universal credit to help top up your wages, okay? However, when you do apply for universal credit, you need to bear in mind that your wages will be taken into account when they work out your entitlement and how much money you get, okay? So basically, for every pound you earn that is over your allowance, you will lose 63 pence of your universal credit entitlement, okay? So your wages can affect how much money you get from universal credit. People working full-time in the vast majority of cases will not be entitled for any universal credit help, okay? Because unfortunately, universal credit is means tested, okay? Now then, what is the eligibility criteria for universal credit? So it varies depending on, like I said, your individual situation. So you can apply for universal credit if you're on a low income or out of work, you're 18 or over. There are exceptions for people who are 16 or 17, which I will explain a little bit later on. You and your partner must have less than £16,000 in savings between you. If you are in a couple, you will be assessed as a couple. So if one of you, has a bit of savings and one of you has nothing, the bit of savings will be used to assess you together, okay? And to be eligible, you must also live in the United Kingdom, okay? Now then, if you are over 18 and you are training or studying full-time, you can make a claim for universal credit if you meet certain criteria, okay? So some of those criteria are if you live with your partner and they are eligible for universal credit. So if your partner is on UC, there is a chance that you could possibly get some help from universal credit. You could get UC if you're 18 or over and in training or studying, if you're responsible for a child, either as a single individual or as a couple. You could get UC if you're disabled and entitled to DLA or disability living allowance or personal independence payment, also referred to as PIP, and you have a limited capability for work. Excuse me. You can also get UC if you are 18 and studying full-time or in training, if you are in further education, okay? If you're 21 or under and you don't have parental support, so for example, if you're estranged from your parents and you're not under local authority care, you would be eligible for universal credit, okay? Now then, if you are 16 or 17 years old, you can still get UC again if you meet certain criteria. So kind of the criteria for those who are 16 or 17 in order to obtain universal credit are: you must have limited capability for work or have medical evidence and you're waiting for a work capability assessment. You're caring for a severely disabled person. You're responsible for a child. You're in a couple with responsibility for at least one child and your partner is eligible for universal credit. If you're pregnant and it's 11 weeks or less before the expected week of your childbirth. If you've had a child in the last 15 weeks, you could also be eligible for universal credit. And if you do not have parental support, so again, you know, if you're, for example, if you're estranged from your parents or you're not under local authority care, you could be eligible for universal credit. Like I said, everyone's situation is assessed on their individual circumstances, okay? Now, if you're studying full-time, you can make a claim if you're in full-time education if any of the following apply to you. So for example, if you don't have parental support, if you have limited capability for work and you're entitled to PIP, you're responsible for a child, or you're in a couple with responsibility for a child and your partner is eligible for universal credit, okay? So hopefully, if any of those so like I said, hopefully that has helped clear any uncertainty as to whether you are eligible for universal credit or not, okay? Now then, how can you apply? So like I said, universal credit is a digital benefit, so you have to apply online, okay? Simply go to www.gov.uk and type in universal credit in the search bar. You should see a green button then that says apply now, and if you click that button, you will begin the application process. Now, in order to apply, you will need an email address that you have access to in order to complete the application, okay? It will send a code to your email that you will need to input when you do your claim, okay? And this then will activate your claim. It's very important you have access to your email in order to get this code, okay? We also strongly recommend you input your phone number, as UC will send you text messages when you need to check your account, read messages and things like that, okay? This is very important because if you do not check your account on a regular basis, check your to-do list, check your journal, you can be sanctioned and you could incur some financial penalties, okay? Like I said, it is key you check your account on a regular basis. If you miss important messages, you might miss meetings, which could result in money being deducted from you, okay? Now, what documents do people need in order to basically prove their identity in order to claim UC? So once you've submitted a claim, you will be asked to provide evidence to confirm who you are and basically prove your current situation, okay? So that they can then properly assess your claim. The evidence they will often ask for will include a tenancy agreement. So if you're claiming for the housing element to help pay with rent, they will ask for a proof of that in the form of a tenancy agreement, and this must be signed by both you and your landlord. Proof of ID, so things like a driving license, a passport, a bank statement or a bank card, a birth certificate. If you don't have any of those, they can still complete the verification process. It may just take a little bit longer, but it still can be done. If you were claiming childcare costs, they will ask for childcare information. So things as who the registered childcare provider is, okay? They will ask for proof of non-work income, proof of capital, property, anything like that, because like I said, universal credit is means tested, so any savings or any other capital you have will affect your entitlement and how much money you receive, okay? And they will need bank or building society account details. Like I said, universal credit will be paid into one bank account, so it's very important that you have a bank account in order to receive your payment, okay? Now, how can the Interwork Advice Service help you? So basically, we can help by providing digital support and advice, and basically help you maintain your claim to make sure you get the best possible benefit from Universal Credit. So our experienced advisors can guide you on how to maintain your claim and make sure you benefit, like I said, as much as you can. If you do need help to complete the claim, please contact the Interwork team on the Cardiff Advice line on 02920 871 071, and then someone will call you back and speak to you over the phone. Or if necessary, we will book you an appointment to give you face-to-face assistance, okay? But we do have to have that initial phone call, as that is the procedure in the current COVID pandemic, okay? If English is not your first language, we are able to use a translation service in order to communicate with you, okay? So don't worry about that. Like I said, the Interwork Advice Service has a lot of experience in dealing with a diverse range of universal credit queries, and we look forward to helping you during these difficult times, okay? Thank you very much.